Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. I'm your host, Alvin King, and welcome to our Friday, December the 6th live episode, ladies and gentlemen. It is cold outside, and it is taking no prisoners, and it's not even winter yet. We are still in fall, but thank you all for joining us tonight and being here for our special show. Let me just tell you guys right now, Bobby is on travel and he is not with us tonight because he is on travel, but he sends his regards and he will be back next week to be with all of us. We are doing something that we have been talking about since the show began 4 years ago. And that's having a one-on-one with a special guest. And I am so honored tonight to host the first one-on-one, ladies and gentlemen, with someone who I am so proud of. I mean, it's almost like he's a family member, like a little brother of mine. And I just want to tell you that our special guest, he was a contestant on season 26, that's this year, of The Voice. And his voice has now captured the nation. J. Paul has gone from singing background for the legendary Stephanie Mills to standing center stage under the spotlight. But before his meteoric rise, he graced a set of He Said, He Said, He Said live right here with his charisma, his passion, and his raw talent. And I cannot believe, but that was June of 2022. But now J. Paul is returning. And he's here tonight for an exclusive one-on-one interview with me, sharing his incredible journey and his early days to his breakout moment on one of the biggest stages in music. I am so proud of him. And believe me, we got a conversation, you guys. If you all saw that show 2 years ago, you know who he is. Okay, so we're going to have a great conversation. And I'm just so blessed to have him here tonight. First, hello, Monica. Glenn, thank you for being here. Thank you, Rose. Thank you for being on here tonight. Happy holidays to everybody. It's Christmas time. I mean, it is Christmas time, and you can see how festive it is in my house. And believe it or not, my tree, because putting up a tree is therapeutic for me. So this is just the beginning of the tree. The tree will not be fully decorated until the week of Christmas. That's my little tradition that I play with myself with. So play with myself or with putting up the Christmas tree. And speaking of Christmas trees, a lot of people have been posting pictures of their Christmas trees on social media. Some people who I didn't even believe had that kind of talent are posting some of the most beautiful Christmas trees. And I just want to thank you all for putting me in the spirit, because some of you, I gotta call you because you all have some tricks up your sleeve that I didn't even think existed with putting up Christmas trees. And also on this whole Christmas tip, okay, some people think that Christmas is a moneymaker. Is where people spending all their money. And one of the things that people are spending their money on, this ugly sweater concept. I can't stand it. I think that is one of the most money-grabbing, unnecessary things that this holiday brings out in people. I mean, first of all, I don't want anything ugly in my wardrobe. So if I got to call it from the start, then it's not going to get there. But I just think that is one trend that I really hope goes away. I know people think it's fun and all that, but I just want it to go away. And last, before I bring on my special guest, I got a chance to see Wicked. I wanted some of the hype to die down, and I got a chance to see it this last week, and it is really, really incredible. Ariana Grande, I wasn't sure if she could or would, but she did her thing. I was really, happy with her performance, but it is Cynthia Erivo, as far as I'm concerned. Cynthia Erivo, just like she was born to play her role in The Color Purple on Broadway, she has now taken the movie screen by storm by playing Alphaba in the new Wicked. I mean, she is absolutely fantastic. The storyline is fantastic. And according to, reports, it debuted less than 2 weeks ago, but has made more money in this time than any other movie based on a musical, according to Box Office Mojo, the industry analyst, putting the earnings at $359 million already. Okay. And I'm sure it's higher than that because I think I got this on yesterday. But beautiful movie. If you haven't seen it, I got someone very close to me who doesn't like musicals, but I'm determined that they will also see this movie because the message in the movie is fantastic. So again, thank you all for joining the show tonight. And yeah, bless me because I'm going to do it on my own. I'm so used to having Bobby beside me, but tonight I'm going to be a one-man show and I'm proud of it. Hello, Mr. Charles Reese. Thank you for joining us tonight from LA. I'm looking forward to you coming to Washington, DC, because I know you have a show that I'm going to broadcast in the next couple of days, and I'm looking forward to you being here. Sean, thank you for joining us tonight. Hey, happy holidays to all of you guys. All right, so I'm going to get on with it because not only is he with us tonight, but you all need to stick around because he's going to sing live from his debut album tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And so you don't want to miss any of this. Thank you, Brother Brent. I love you, man. Thank you. Hey, Michi. Look, I got to get on. You guys are coming on. I love you guys. But look, music is the dialogue of my life, says Jason Paul, a singer, songwriter, and musician. He calls the DMV his home by way of sunny San Diego, California. With a West Coast swag and an East Coast grind, Jason is multifaceted in just musical experience. While currently studying music at Berklee University, he is most well known for his soul-stirring male soprano. However, he's no one-note wonder and can sing all parts if he needs to. He attributes his vocal ability to his mother, Miss Carolyn Anderson, a musician, vocal instructor in her own right. In fact, his mom had Jason, excuse me, in the soprano section, ladies and in an adult choir at the age of 3, with a plethora of music influences. His mother, Carolyn Anderson, to Walter Hawkins, the Clark sisters, Marvin Gaye, Aretha Franklin, and Andre Crouch, to just name a few. Jason has had the wonderful opportunity also to travel as a background vocalist with the legendary Stephanie Mills for 7 years. He is a member of the STEMS Music Vocal Production Company, where you can hear his voice on backgrounds for a slew of artists in different genres. Jason is happily married to his husband of 7 years, Christopher, who he calls his backbone. Jason also plans on singing of love he experienced through his marriage to help people of all walks of life connect moments they will never forget, moments like we've never experienced. Hashtag post 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the He Said stage, Jason Paul.
Thank you so much for having me.
Jason, thank you for being here. Man, first, again, congratulations to you. I swear you're just like a little brother to me. I was so proud. I grabbed popcorn and called people and said, y'all need to get in front of the TV tonight. Okay. So congratulations, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Congratulations. Well, look, I got a lot to talk to you about, man. So again, as I said, welcome back to the show. And I told everyone you were here in June of 2022. And I knew then that when we talked, that God has some great things in store for you, Jason. So for our viewers who are meeting you for the first time, how would you describe your musical artistry to them?
Well, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. A little bit of Aretha, a little bit of Sam Cooke. I was raised, probably like many of your viewers, in the church. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for showing my mother's beautiful album cover. She was actually pregnant with me on that album cover. Wow. And so for it to be said that I grew up in the church is an understatement. I grew up in the choir stand, to be honest with you. And I didn't know that on this side of life, the effect that, that has in one's life. Honestly, when you don't grow up in church, when you grow up in church and you grow up in the music ministry as a pastor's kid, it's pretty much all you know, to be honest with you. It's all you know. And it's almost like that's the limit. And then you get out into the world and see that there's a big world out here that is beyond just a choir stand. So my adult years really have been spent, especially since I've lived in the DMV, just getting to know the world outside of the four walls of the church.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. It definitely, your gospel roots definitely come through. And again, I get chills just thinking about it, Jason. So, and as I mentioned before, you have the vocal ability to sing every genre of music. And I just want to spend a little bit more personal time with you by asking, if you had to choose, who would you say is your audience, though?
That's a great question. Honestly, I would say everyone, every single person. Like you said, gospel is the foundation, it's the root, and the gospel is the good news. Everyone wants to hear good news. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to smile. Everyone wants music that's going to lift them. And so my audience is the older generation, the seasoned saints. It's also 16 and 17-year-olds who maybe want to go beyond just the music that they hear on TikTok. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Want to go beyond what's popular right now. And like me, I listen to the greats so that I can produce great music. Mm-hmm. And I've had everyone in the audience that wants to come back to a show. People have amazed me, to be honest with you, especially traveling with Stephanie. And Stephanie spotlights us, which I'm very grateful for. And we'll get people after the show that will come to us and say, hey, I came back because of you. And it's like, when you're standing on the stage with someone as great as Stephanie Mills, and even one person says, I saw you sing last time and I came back, that means we're making impact. Yeah. And so I'm grateful, because Stephanie's been singing this music for over 50 years, and then Lil J. Paul comes from San Diego, California, and is now on the big stage with her. And I'm being loved, and people are following my career now and want to see what I'm doing. So, I'm happy to say that in the audience, I want everyone.
Wow. Yeah. And I mean, you hit the nail on the head with that. And thank you for showing how humble you are.
Yes.
That again, that's little brother. I'm going to be saying things to you that you probably have never heard me say about how I feel about you tonight. I just want you to know that, okay? Because you are what you are, and you have definitely made an impact on me. And speaking of the impact, you got this style, this 70s thing that is just going on, and you have taken it to a whole new level. When I saw you bring it to the voice stage, I was like, mic drop. So tell me this, what about the 70s has attracted your artistry to this era? What is it?
The liberation, the liberty. I have a song that I recorded. It's not out yet, but it's called, I just left what's that song called? It's called what? No, not Love Jones. It speaks about freedom. Okay. And it's called The Invitation. That's what it's called. It has a little 70s vibe. But when you hear it, it kind of puts you in the mind of the 70s. And then the lyrics is talking about getting free. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think we've gone through so much since 2020, obviously. And people are now deciding who they want to be. Mm-hmm. They're now sinking their feet into, we have a statement that we hate to say in our friendship groups is, oh, you know me, that's just me. We challenge that. No, it's not just you. That might have been you 5 years ago. That might have been you 10 years ago. But where are you at now? And so I want my music to, as much as I want people to feel love and to feel care, but I also want them to be challenged to be better. And for me, that's 70s, because it takes a boldness to walk into a room and to be yourself. You know what I mean? To really make a decision that I might be the only person that walks in this room with bell bottoms on, or, I may be the only male in here with heels on, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because there was once a day that all my people look like this.
How about that?
You know what I mean? And so like I've been blessed to have this music room, and every album that I can pull out is a different look for me. And so it's beyond the music, it's lifestyle.
Well, you have taken it, packaged it, ran with it, and you're displaying it, and you're teaching people, because you damn sure look good every time you whatever you put on. Jason, you got it, and I just appreciate it. I'm a 70s. I was born in the 50s, but I graduated in the 70s, and so I know about that freedom and that liberation. You know what I'm saying? And hearing you say what you said, I carry that. So I definitely get it. Okay, I also read that you moved to DC in 2015, and you are a hairstylist or became a hairstylist. 2013? In 13. Okay, and after you moved here, you became a hairstylist before stepping into your music career. Is that correct? Is that fair to say?
Yes, I was already a hairstylist. I've been doing hair since I was maybe about 12 years old. Yeah. So hair and music have pretty much always been my life. I always tell my friends, I've been running from the salon to a concert my whole entire life. Because if anyone knows anything about a black hair salon, time is not your friend. Time is not your friend. And so it's taken me about 38 years to finally realize that I shouldn't book clients and a concert on the same day.
Well, that's bringing me to my next two questions, because with all that you have going on right now, and you're currently studying, at Berkeley, the two questions I have: number one, how are your clients feeling about you not being available for their hair appointments? Because Black women look, when it comes to hair, so that's one question. I'm gonna let you answer that one. How is that working for you?
My clients have been so supportive, and a Black woman will support you when they go and search out another stylist. Because they know that you're dreaming and you have something bigger to achieve, and I have to go out into the world. I tell people all the time, I'm not necessarily the singer that wants to sit in my living room or sit in my music room and have my phone propped up all day and just sing into the phone. I want to sing to an audience. I want to feel people's energy. I love live concerts, and I have to be out in the world to do it, And so I have been blessed, very, 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 very blessed. When I moved to DC, I didn't sing for about 2 or 3 years. And I made that decision solely because I had been doing music, like I said, my whole life. I was raised in the choir stand. And so I never really had a life without, number one, being in music, and two, being in music leadership. My mother was always the choir director, so I was always the assistant choir director, just by proxy. That was just my job. And even when I moved on from attending church with my mother, I still ended up being the choir director. I still ended up being the lead singer. I still ended up having my own group. So moving to DC allowed me to say, you know what, let me just put a small pause in this and let me go out into the world and kind of seek some friends that are going to love Jason for Jason, and not just because, I saw you sing at that place and I saw you here and you did this and you were with this person. And you know what I mean? That sort of thing. I wanted to eliminate that and just maybe see if I could gain some friendships just on the merit of me having a good heart. And I was blessed all of my friends here are all creatives. They're all into the arts, but they're all beautiful people, beautiful souls who can sing. They can just sing beyond. They can play, anything, but they're good people. They love me genuinely, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. My clients are also my friends. And so, I just transitioned them. It's just a transition. As we all know in life, you have to learn how to transition.
Well, before I ask you the second question that I'm going to ask you here. First of all, you mentioned that friends group that you call each other out and hold each other accountable. I need that group. So if there's a seat that's in there somewhere, I need to come there, because that's how I live my life. And those type of people are few and far between. And so I just say that I'm glad that you have that, and I hope you hold on to that. So thank you for sharing that piece. Absolutely. And the second part of my question was, Jason, how are you intertwining your studies at Berkeley University to, with furthering your music career? How are you intertwining that and still performing and still doing your gigs? How do you have time?
Yes, sir. So this year, I've been blessed that in January, my mother called and she said, it's perfect time. You have to start taking piano lessons. And I said, okay, Mom, I have this piano here. It's just sitting here. So sure. So what I've been able to do is to kind of take a break with Berkeley, and then to bring my mother in to become my teacher now. And I am now weaving all of the information that I learned at Berkeley, applying it to everything that I'm learning with my mother. And now finally sitting at the piano and watching things make sense. My mother always says that the best musician in the room not only hears their music, but they see it too.
Wow. Okay. Truly, God is working. I want to take this moment before we go into, a slight break. I want you to share with us, because I know you have a few very special people in your life that you mention all the time that have been a part of your musical journey. And if you could, in this order, I want you to share with us what impact that they've had on you. You've already talked about your mother, but I want you to elaborate on that. Your mother, Mrs. Carolyn Anderson, multi-Grammy Award winner, Tony Award winner, American Music Award winner, and NAACP Award winner, Stephanie Mills. The untimely death of your friend and a veteran in the music industry, Mr. Troy Clark, and of course, your beautiful 7-year marriage to Christopher. I just want you to share something about those 4 people that has helped Jason Paul to be who he is.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think the last time we did the interview, we were on 7 years. Now we'll be at 10 in January. So 10 years of marriage to one of the most beautiful souls that I've ever known in life. So I actually can start with my husband and work my way back.
Okay.
I met my husband when I was in full throttle director mode. And I was, leading my own choir at my church in San Diego, full force, full steam ahead. I was just really in it. And I met him at the time that I didn't know that there was going to be some persecutions that would come along with me just being my full self. And, falling in love, such a beautiful thing. But that happened for me at a time where there were other things going on in the church that had nothing to do with me. I know that now because I've grown, I've kind of gotten a lot more balance, and I understand the world at large. I understand how the enemy kind of comes to, kill, steal, and destroy at times. And so that attack wasn't for me, but I was a part of it. I was kind of thrown in, and my husband became that person that kind of helped carry me out of that situation. He was like an angel that showed up right at the perfect time, so that, all these years later, I still wouldn't be church hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All these years later, I still wouldn't say, well, I don't want to sing no more because, you know, the church and God and this and that. And there was none of that. I was easily carried out. And I've been doing a lot more interviews lately. And I've been so blessed to say that I am one of the people that, you know, I still go to church every Sunday. I still believe in God. My pastor still covers me. My pastor was praying over me before I left to go to LA to film the show, just because I believe that you have to submit under something. You know what I mean? And so, but before my husband, there was my mom, of course, but a couple people that haven't been mentioned. I have a uncle that so close to my heart. His name was Mark Gary, and Mark Gary trusted me so much that at 16, he said, okay, you're good enough. Here's the youth choir. You direct them. And as much as I was used to that, because again, you know, I've been under my mother, so I've been doing the thing. Now that I'm an adult, I'm like, whoa, he entrusted his whole youth choir, 50 voices. And I had just joined the church. I was just a soprano. I was just the lead. And then I was just a choir director. And so that helped me with my leadership skills. It helped me to know how to lead people who are my age. You know, it's something to lead your friends, your people, you know what I mean? The people that you go out and you, I would say, shed everything that the world puts on you, but then you have to put on that armor to lead them.
Right.
So it's a funny balance that you have to have. Also, my godfather, Cedric Balchert, and my uncle, Edward Balchert, two OGs in the San Diego community who, I wrote this in my phone a couple of days ago, you know, I wasn't rejected, I was protected. Those were two men that made sure that I just stayed protected. And at that time, of course, I thought it was rejection. Why can't I go and hang out here? Why can't I be with these people? Why can't I do that? But they knew, no, God has something special in you and you just can't be with everybody. You know, that now I get it. Now I'm totally in it. But when I was 15, 16, 17, I didn't understand. And so I just want to shout out those men who protected me, covered me, and still boosted me. And those three individuals, along with my mother, along with my husband, have been my rocks. They've been, you know, my pillars, and all of them knew how much I loved and adored Troy. And Troy knew all of them, everyone that I'm speaking of. And it's just really been family. It's been family the whole way through. I've been blessed. I really have, because everyone doesn't have the same testimony that I have as it concerns the dealing with the music industry, you know, dealing with the business of music. Dealing with the business of music is not going to church on Sunday and singing Karen Clark Sheard or Dorinda Clark Cole or Hezekiah Walker.
Come on now.
You're dealing with the business. You have to set that to the side and really sit into the business. And so I've been able to kind of have my hand in both. Yeah. And not get burned by the fire.
Come on now. See, I'm ready to pass the plate right now. Okay. If y'all didn't get what he just said, you better make sure that you look at when this is finished, you need to look at this show again, because he just gave y'all a message right there. Look, first of all, thank you, Jason. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask you some questions about your journey to The Voice, okay? Yes, because I want to hear all about that. So stay tuned, everybody. We will be right back.
Hi, everybody. This is Senator Chuck Schumer, and I'm so honored to be able to join you all virtually in celebrating NNPA's 80th anniversary and the 193rd year of the Black Press of America. For all of its history, NNPA has played such a vital role in forming and raising the voices of Black Americans in the news industry, and made sure their voices are never silenced. As we reflect on the current state of our country, this mission is even more important today. From healthcare to housing, the economy and education, The COVID-19 pandemic continues to disproportionately affect African Americans, while also putting a magnifying glass over the systematic injustices present in far too many of our nation's institutions. It is said that Martin Luther King, on his broad shoulders, held up a giant mirror and with his eloquence and conviction forced Americans to look into that mirror, and they didn't like what they saw. In a certain different type of sense, COVID is doing the same thing. America is seeing the systematic racism that plagues our country, and Americans are not liking what they see. Nowhere is this clearest than in the epidemic of police brutality against African Americans. While my Democratic colleagues and I continue working to pass legislation that fights back against these injustices and provides comprehensive solutions, it is you, the members of the NNPA, that bring this information from Washington to the homes of American families. So I want to wish a very happy anniversary to the NNPA and the Black Press of America. I hope at our next anniversary we've made real progress for the first time in a long time on racial justice. And thank you for playing the essential role you play in confronting racism, injustice, inequality that plagues America.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. If you're just tuning in, we have singer, songwriter, musician, Jason Paul is with us, ladies and gentlemen. For my first one-on-one, and I cannot be happier to have you here, Jason. Look, I need to, again, I told you I was sitting in front of the TV. I think I texted you when I think you put something out that you were going to be on The Voice. And I said, Jason, is that you? Are you sure? I was like, okay. And so I'm extremely proud of you. So I want to ask you, Jason, what inspired you to audition for The Voice, and what did it feel like to be selected?
That's a great question. So this past year that I was filming on The Voice is actually the second of my relationship with them. This is the second term of my relationship with them. The first time The Voice reached out to me was 2018. And I auditioned. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't ready. But because they reached out, it was really good. Like they were kind, they were consistent. I could tell they were serious. So I did the interview, did the audition, it was something very small. It didn't go through. It was no love lost. I went on about my business. I think maybe about a year or two later, I filmed the J. Paul Experience. I have the live EP on YouTube where I did Dream On and Earth Song and, all of these big songs. And it was during that time that we lost Troy. And so I didn't think at that moment, I wasn't thinking about The Voice. Let me just say that, I wasn't thinking about TV. You don't even think about anything when you're grieving.
Yeah.
But fast forward some time, and The Voice started reaching out to me last year again. And at first I told my husband, I said, no, I did it. I'm good. It's been so much going on. I don't think that's right. They kept reaching out. And I said, well, I have this album, I do have things to talk about. And so we decided that we were going to move forward with the process. And I can say that perfect timing. The timing is just, God's timing is everything, to whoever is out there that don't know that, please let me share with you. His timing is way better than our timing, because to be honest with you, if I would have went on the show in 2018, let's just say I could have sang, because I've always sang. I could have sang, but mentally, I wouldn't have been ready. I would not have been ready. And so to have that turn of events, and really that audition pushed me to do my live EP because, like I said during that interview, I felt like I can. You know, when you feel like you can, then 9 times out of 10 you will.
Yep.
And so because I felt like I could, I said, well, you know, let me go into this. And then that led me to doing an album. And then the album led me to, you know, all these different things. So it's been happening little by little over the past couple years since I said, you know, okay, I'm going to pursue music. I'm going to take this on full time and I'm going to see where God leads me.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Bobby, my co-host, we go back and forth on Mondays after we get off of our production call talking about The Voice. And so I need you to put yourself in my shoes right now. And when you stepped on that stage to do your blind, and I was like, what song is he going to sing? You know, I'm trying to analyze all that. And you came out with Michael McDonald. I keep forgetting I'm not in love anymore. What went through your mind when those 3 chairs, Gwen, Michael, and Reba, turned for you? How did that make you feel? What was the feeling you had when those 3 chairs turned?
In my spirit, I kind of just like waved at them, like, hey guys, you know what I mean? Like, welcome to the party. To be honest with you, because when we're on stage and we're singing, there's so much that's going on.
Right.
You know, it's so much that's going on. And as much as during that episode, you're looking for the attention of people to just like you off of your voice, you do understand that there's a large majority of people that's looking at you for more than your voice. You know, just like you said, the 70s style, you know, how you move, how you're confident, not what you're singing, but how are you singing it? So
the package.
Absolutely. So, you know, when I was getting those chair turns and I was like, hey, y'all, again, welcome to the party. I call it the J. Paul experience for a reason, because it is an experience.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It is an experience. And so I was blessed to be able to, you know, have all of the greats sort of like fighting over me and, you know, trying to get my attention and get on my team. That for me was like, wow, that was amazing. It was an amazing experience because I've been having fun in music like my whole life, but I've never been in that situation before.
Well, of course, again, for me sitting at home watching it, I was so mad that Snoop didn't turn around. However, when Snoop did turn around, Snoop saw the package. He saw, and he talked about how you looked and how you carried yourself. And my question about that, I'm just going, look, had Snoop turned around and it was a 4-chair turn, would that have made your decision harder?
It would have. It would have. Yeah, for sure.
I've been wanting to ask that. Thank you so much. Because I wanted Snoop. I was hitting the TV. Snoop, turn around. You know, I'm sure I wasn't the only one, but I just, you know, and I just wanted to ask you that question. So thank you for answering that honestly.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, you selected a 5 Grammy, 15 Juno Award winner, Michael Bublé. He is, you know, he's one of the best.
Yes.
So what was it like working with Michael as your coach?
He's true to the game. To be honest with you, he is true to the game of music. In this music room, I listen to a lot of Sam Cooke. I listen to a lot of Nat King Cole. I listen to a lot of Old Blue Eyes, as they call him. A lot of Dionne Warwick. A lot of singers. You know what I mean? And entertainers and people that this was their whole life. They gave their life for the stage. And Michael Bublé is a part of that team of people who have given his whole life to the stage, which is why he signed on to do season 26 and season 27 at the same time, because he takes it serious. And so, you know, I had the chance of singing background for him. It was so long ago, you know, 2005, maybe 2006. And just meeting him for like 10, 15 minutes during that. We were just in a choir, and excuse me, he had people come in just to take pictures with him. He was the same person. Yeah. So that told me that, oh, he's real about this thing called music, and he's in it for the right reasons. Wow. So it was beautiful to work with him and to get feedback. And, you know, we hear about the people that love you and how much they love your artistry, how much they love you. But then when you get to hear about other people and how they feel about you, then you really understand that we're not just out here singing, we're making musical impact.
Wow. Well, were there any moments in The Voice that surprised you or taught you something unexpected about yourself as an artist?
Yeah. When we went into the battles, where I did Britney Spears, that was just, I tell my friends all the time that was my favorite performance. Britney Spears was just epic, and it brought out something on national television that I couldn't have expected. You know, I didn't go on the show expecting for that moment to happen, and it was epic to me. It was just, I don't know, it was music magic. And I was like, wow, okay. I didn't care what happened, honestly. I didn't care if I won, if my princess won. It didn't matter. It was just like, we did that. We kept saying to each other, like, whoa, this is getting really good. Like, this is getting, the more we did it, it was like, oh, this is going to be really good. And I felt like our battle was the best battle, hands down.
Well, you know, I also took away from that battle another proud moment for you, because America got to see you, what they probably thought was out of your comfort zone, but it wasn't, because you can sing the phone book. and you went in there and you did what needed to be done with a Britney Spears song. So for that alone, for me as the proud, you know, wannabe uncle, I was like, did you just see what he did? And you just showed America another side of you. So I was very proud of you, and I'm glad you shared that piece also, that was one of your favorite moments.
Absolutely.
How has being on The Voice changed your perspective, if at all, on your career or life as an artist?
Oh, that's a really great question. That's a good question. I think what it's done for me is confirmed how I move. I have a chance to be with, as you know, I've been singing with Stephanie. I have a chance to be with the OGs a lot. And honestly, probably a lot more than I am with other people that are in the industry that are my age. And so my mindset as it concerns music is totally different. I understand that we have a long time to do a short thing. And so sometimes in this element that we now live in with social media and YouTube and all these different platforms that we're trying to get attention from, sometimes as artists and entertainers, when we don't get that attention, to take it on the inside.
Yeah.
You know, and it starts to kill our essence of what we do. And that was never really my thing. Going to LA and filming and being on the set and in the production and with other contestants, older and younger, it helped me to just sit back and say, Jason, you're good. You're good. And sometimes it's really that simple. It's really that simple, to be honest with you. I can share one story. One of my friends that I met on the show, this was for, I believe it was for the 4-chair turn, maybe. We were all in the back. Everybody's getting ready, you know, and everyone's nervous. And the nerves are around.
I can imagine.
And J. Paul is sitting in the corner reading this book.
Okay. Okay. Understanding your potential.
And I didn't, I'm very quiet. I am like an extrovert sometimes and then an introvert sometimes. I know when to have that balance.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in my introverted state because I'm just waiting to sing my song.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the contestants said to everybody else in the room, and this is like production people, everybody, he said, there's something that we need to learn from J. Paul. Everyone in this room is walking around nervous, and he's sitting in the corner with his legs crossed reading a book. Again, I'm just being myself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just being me, waiting to get called to sing. Mm-hmm. But it started a whole discussion, and I had a chance to share with some people, and it was like, for me, it was like, oh, okay, I think I might just be okay. I might just be fine. You know what I mean? So if that last reel didn't get as many likes or many shares as I thought it would, that's all right. You know what I mean?
You're preaching to the choir here. Okay, so I get it. I get you. So I get that loud and clear, sitting in this chair having this beautiful conversation with you. So I just want to wrap up before we move on about your experience with the incredible Michael Bublé. If you could work with Michael again, is there, or what kind of project or song would you want to create together with him? Have you thought about that?
Absolutely. I can say that one of my takeaways from leaving The Voice is that I wish when I was younger that I would have worked on my jazz chops. Jazz music will live forever. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's such a sacred relationship between the listener and, whoever the entertainer or the singer, and this is from Michael Bublé all the way down to Blues Alley.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that jazz section of the world. I just wish that I built up more of a repertoire when I was younger. The blessing is I've been doing music for so long that it's not going to take me that long to learn it.
Right.
But if I was to move forward with Michael, it would be everything jazz, I would bring what I bring to the table, my gospel chops and, my Stephanie Mills chops and my B Slade chops and, all of the things that I've done, but I would really want to dive into jazz music because it's something that lives beyond. It's beyond. Shout out to Samara Joy too.
Amen. And look, while you were talking, I just closed my eyes and saw you on a marquee at Blues Alley. And I just want you, okay, so when that day comes, I will be in line again with a group of folks, okay, saying we're going to see J. Paul. Look, I want to move on into your new project post 2020. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to bless us with the performance tonight. But I want to ask you, J. Paul, since this is your debut album, how does it feel to finally share your work with the world right now?
It's like a mother and father with their first child, they pay so much attention to that baby because they've never seen it before. Mm-hmm. They've never seen this creation from mother and father. And now we have a product and it has a little bit of you and it has a little bit of me. And this project post 2020 has a little bit of myself. It has a little bit of my husband, it has a little bit of a music company that I work for, Stems Music, has a little bit of, shout out to Yana Crawley, Sunday's Best Season 2 winner, has a little bit of Yana in there, a little bit of my best friend, Corey Thomas, who wrote a song on the album, a little bit of my brother, Ralph Harmon, who wrote You For Me, my leading single. It's my community. It's my village, it's my everyday wake up in the morning and texters that I'm able to make music with. And for me, that's the biggest takeaway. That's the biggest takeaway that my first presentation of music involves everyone that helps me as a person. You know, they're not just here just to see me shine and get on the stage and just sing it, and that's it. That's all we care about. No, they love me.
Well, you just said Ayanna Crawley. She was on Sunday's Best. Was that Sunday's Best?
Yes.
Yeah. I hadn't heard that name in a while, and so the fact that you have, and I hope I'm saying it right, Ayala Crawley. Ayanna. You have her on your album now. Woo! Okay, you and her a beast. Okay, I'm sitting here. I cannot wait to hear it. And I'm sure everybody who sings about. I mean, I know Clifton Ross sings with you as well. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep. It's a blessing, Alvin. Like it's huge. It really is. It's humongous. It's some of the greatest singers that are on this earth right now. And they're just a call away for a live performance, for, a studio, for a writing session. God has just really placed me in the middle of something that is just really good. And I feel that can change the world.
Well, I want to ask you, what was the biggest challenge you faced while creating Post 2020?
We had 6 days to do it.
The infamous got to get it done.
I had a gig with Stephanie. We were going to Puerto Santa somewhere. Mm-hmm. And, again, deadline. I had 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And in that 2 weeks, we had 6-7 days to just complete the whole album. Mm-hmm. And we went in with only one song finished, and we completed the rest of the album within those 6 days.
Yikes.
Mm-hmm. Yikes. And that let me know, again, like we keep saying, that let me know that I could. I had never done an album before. And then going further, I had never written music before. So this is my first time sitting in the studio, having a therapy session with my friends, writing music and singing it and recording it and putting it down for a record at the same time.
Wow. Jason, I have two more questions, but one, I want to ask you, how can people obtain the new album? Is it out now? How can they get it?
Yes, Post 2020 is on all musical platforms. It's on all platforms, all.
I will make sure that I put it in our he said live everything to make sure that people will get it. What do you hope listeners take away from Post 2020 before we let you go?
Hope is the biggest thing. The last song on the album is entitled "Wait for Me." Mm-hmm. And that is the most personal song on the album because it really speaks about the day that Jason met Jason.
Come on now.
And the day that Jason looked in the mirror and said, "You're okay, you're enough." And so it talks about running to you. But it's me. I'm speaking in third person. I was running to me the whole time, but I was looking for me in back alleys and backfields and over here to the right and over here to the left, when I've been in the middle this whole time. And most of the time, that's what God is saying to us. I've been here this whole time. You were just running around looking for me, and I've been standing right here knocking at your door saying, "Hello, hey, friend." And so I finished that lyric of that song with saying, you might not have gotten there yet, but you will get there. And so I want people to leave that album with hope that they will get there. You will get there. You'll land.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we're going to take another mini break. And when we come back, Jason is going to perform live for you his song Waves from his new album, Post 2020. So stay right there and we will be right back. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
I'm Derek Johnson, President and CEO of the NAACP. I want to congratulate NNPA for your 80th birthday. You know, NAACP was established by someone who also was a newswoman, Ida B. Wells. And for me, coming from Mississippi, knowing the advocacy of the Black press, we are proud partners with NNPA. It is important for our community to hear the news from our community, reported by our community, so we can be a stronger community. NAACP, we will continue to stand alongside in partnership with your leadership, Dr. Benjamin Chavis, who for me is a special privilege, not only because he served in his seat, but he served in his seat while I was a state youth president in Mississippi, and he supported the voice of young people across the country during a time when they was trying to close and merge Black colleges. But more importantly, it was through the Jackson Advocate that carried the news of our work, which resulted in African American schools, HBCUs, state funded, the prevention of the closing. During that time, they was talking about merging Alcorn State University, closing Mississippi Valley, and downsizing Jackson State. But because of the voice of the Jackson Advocate and all the papers across the country who are members of NNPA, we were able to stop the closing and merging of not only schools in the state of Mississippi, but HBCUs in 18 states. So thank you for being the voice of our community. Continue to do the work as we look to the future.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to step out of the way, and I'm going to give full screen to our special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, J. Paul.
Here we go. Excuse me, sorry, technical difficulty. Stefan, why is this not playing from here? Oh, my phone is turning on me. Excuse me, guys, just a small technical difficulty. The new iPhone updates. Sometimes not our friend.
What's the Bluetooth phone?
It should be on this. It was hooked up and ready to go.
It's not playing anything.
Oh, that enemy.
Where's Jimmy?
Good morning.
Just talk real quick. Jimmy.
Wow.
Just talk to them and get Jimmy real quick.
Excuse me. Okay. I think that we're ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jason, no, keep doing what you're doing. But you know, we're a live show, and you know, as things go, we're live, but we're here for you, Jason. So do what you have to do. Yeah, I had the iPhone update too, and I wanted to throw this phone across the street. So I get it. I totally get it. He was all geared up. We were all ready. How's it looking over there for you? Good? Okay.
Thank you so much for your patience. This song is Waves, written by my husband, Christopher Curtis Calhoun, stems music, myself. I hope you enjoy it. I woke up this morning in a healthy state of mind. Bedroom curtains open wide. My face greeted by the sunshine. Today is my day. No one's gonna kill my vibe. Catch a wave and take a ride. Hey, I'm gonna ease my mind, yeah. Right. It is gonna be a lucky day. My reflection, my complexion, I can hear myself say, I have faith today. You can forget about yesterday. I'm living in the moment. Catch a wave and take a ride. My vibe today gonna ease my mind. Don't trouble the waters, catch a wave, take a ride, take it easy, ride the wave. Ooh, yeah. Catch a wave and take a ride. Nothing's gonna kill my vibe today. I'm gonna ease my mind, yeah. You're not gonna kill my vibe. Don't trouble my waters. Don't trouble my waters. Oh, catch the wave and ride. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Paul.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. What a way to begin my holiday.
Absolutely.
With you, with your music. Congratulations, Jason, on everything that you're doing. I am so team Jason right now, and I know that God has so much more things in store for you. I'm going to have you stay right here as I close out the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us tonight. We will be back on next week. Bobby will be back, and we will have a new live show for you. Our words of the week. I thought I'd select something that would fit well into this show tonight. Where words fail, music speaks. And I'm dedicating this show tonight to you, Jason Paul, and everything that you're doing. And I just look forward to, seeing you continue to grow. So thank you all for joining us tonight on He Said, He Said, He Said. And again, we'll see you next week. And until next week, take care. And I'm going to do all three. We'll see you next week on He Said, He Said, He Said. You guys have a good one. And happy holidays to everybody. Thank you again, Jason.
Holidays. Much love.